What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, it's that time of the week again where we get you ready for the weekend with a brand new coil build. So how do you guys like the new Fresh Build Friday intro? I worked really hard on it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But with that, we've got a brand new build for you guys, and this one is sponsored by our friends over at Coilology. They sent me a bunch of wire and pre-made coils and stuff to take a look at for you guys. And before you start bitching and moaning and complaining in the comments, I do have a flight to catch tomorrow morning, so I gotta make this one pretty darn quick. So with that, I'm going to do a pre-made, but we are going to be taking a look at a brand new atomizer. This is the Govad RTA by Vape, another new product by them. This is kind of like their single coil clamp style design, which is looking pretty cool. I can't wait to try this thing out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and grab our mod, our wick, our addy, our wire, our tools, all that good stuff. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we have a ton of products from our friends over at Coilology. Say that 3 times fast, but today I think we'll be utilizing some of this stuff right here, which is staple wire. It's pre-built wire, and I'm always curious to see the Chinese-made staple wire because sometimes they cheat and just do flat stock instead of doing separate ribbon wires, and that's kind of what we're testing out today. With that being said, eventually you will see some more of this stuff on the channel. I know you guys hate when I do pre-made stuff, but you got to realize that I do have sort of an obligation to take a look at some of this stuff when they contact me. So yeah, I'll spread it out over a good period of time so you guys don't get bogged down by the same old boring pre-made stuff week after week after week. So with that, let's get rid of all this stuff here, move it aside, bring our mod back in, and we'll start building. So let's grab our staple wire, and we're going to need probably only about 7 or 8 inches for this one today. That looks pretty good to me. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to loop it back through so the spool doesn't go crazy on me. That's one thing I do like about these spools, is that they're anti-spring back kind of thing that they got going on here. A little loop that you can kind of save your wire in there. And yeah, very easy staple wire. There we go, all done, like magic. So today we're going to be building on this Govad RTA that I just got in from Vape. They were gracious enough to send it to me, and I really do appreciate that, of course. And yeah, let's just go ahead and wrap a coil here. So I think we're going to do 8 wraps today. I'm going for flavor, so I don't care if the resistance is a little bit higher. I want some good flavor. This is probably going to be the build that I bring, or this is going to be the tank that I bring with me to VCCT Tampa. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, careful. Oh, there we go. 6, 7, and 8. And we have to go all the way around because the leads have to face 2 different directions. So it's an 8 wrap. This stuff is a little bit springy, but very malleable, easy to work with here. So I feel like it shouldn't be that bad. Let's just get that lead going all the way around. There we go. All right. We're looking pretty good already. I mean, that was pretty easy. And there we go, a simple little 8 wrap coil. All right, so taking a look at this thing, it seems pretty darn easy to build on. All you got to do is just unscrew these posts like so. And my guess is just basically place the coil right smack dab in the middle of these 2 things here. And I think you can even just, yeah, you can just slide it right in, which is definitely convenient. So I'm actually going to take the jig out for this step. Just wiggle them in here. Come on, maybe a little bit looser on this side. Zoop, just like that. And, oh, duh. Wasn't quite there. Durr. So I'm going to actually kind of push down on the coil ever so slightly because I want to pull it up quite a bit when we go to tighten this thing. So pushing down on it should get any of the slack out when we go to pull it up. So there we go. Just tighten these down. I love these posts because they are spring-loaded. That is a dream to build on. You don't have to really fight with it too much. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm actually going to adjust the coil a little bit before I clip these leads here. Yeah, see, I'm glad I did that because I wanted to get a little bit more slack out on this side. So just pull it like that. And straighten our coil out. Again, I think I'm going to have to do this side as well. So just kind of unscrew it and nudge it in ever so slightly. You want it good and tight too. So there we go. Oh, see, when we move the coil this way, it loosens the whole atomizer. So there we go. One more time, I think, on this side, and I think we might have it here. So like that. Really crank down on those screws. Just be careful not to strip them. Alright, so that's good like that. You can kind of roll the jig too as well. You can kind of roll it so that it centers the coil a little bit more. And that sucker's in there. Definitely tight in there. Let's see if I can get this a little bit more centered though. I'm kind of worried. I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit more malleable when we go to fire this thing. So I'm just going to trim off the excess here. Just go like this. Boop, right at the edge. Boop. Okay. Actually, one thing real quick before we go any further, I wanted to see how this stuff is made. So I'm going to try to get some of this outer wire off real quick and see if it's actually flat stock in the middle or if it's actual ribbon wire. So let's just take off some of this outer wire. Let me get my tools here. Take off some of that outer wire. And you know what? It looks like it's actually separate pieces of ribbon wire. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's pretty darn impressive that they actually pulled it off. So this is actual staple wire. I'll take a picture and post it right now for you guys to see that it is actually flat ribbon stock, not just a big piece of, big chunk of flat stock or square stock. So pretty cool stuff there. Let's go ahead and go back to the build. All right, guys, so as you can see, we put our Govad on the Fuchai Duo, and that's what we're going to be test firing this thing on today because I just wanted to check the resistance real quick and make sure everything's good to go. So right now, it's sitting at about 0.38. I have a feeling it's going to go up a little bit when we fire it. I have my mod set at 35 watts, so let's give this thing a test fire real quick, making sure everything's good to go. And the outer wire is pretty darn small. I'm not exactly sure the gauge. I'm pretty sure it says it on here. Let's see, 36 gauge for the outer wire. So it's really tiny gauge outer. So you don't really want to strum your coils all that much. You know, try to avoid it as much as possible. And just basically go with the pinch method. So pinch and pulse is what we're doing. Light pinches, light pulses. Just trying to get this coil to fire up evenly from the inside out, which is already starting to happen, so really good there. Pinch and pulse, pinch and pulse. Just like that. Yeah, we're looking pretty good there. So let's go up to about 50 watts now. I think we're approaching our final resistance now. It's about 0.5, which is actually good. That's kind of what I wanted. I wanted something fairly high resistance that is going to save me on battery life. I'm not really looking for a cloud machine, more or less flavor. So yeah, just like that. I mean, it's firing up nice and evenly from the inside out. Pretty happy with that so far, and I think we are ready to wick. All right, guys, let's see how it fires. You know, not bad for a single coil, I must say. Looking pretty good. So, let's go ahead and fill up the tank. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about this build. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the build section of the video. Now let's talk about the coil that we just put in our Govad RTA. And I gotta say, so far, I'm digging it. I really like what I'm seeing out of this thing already. Especially for a single coil, it definitely produces a lot of vapor, which I'm kind of surprised with. But I metered it on the Fuchai Duo, and it came out to 0.54 ohms, which is a little bit higher than I was expecting. Honestly, I thought it would be a little bit lower than that. But for a single coil, I guess that's pretty normal. I have it on the Hexohm V3 right now at about 70%, which is about 5 volts. So figure about 5 volts, 0.54 ohms. You're going to get a lot of vapor production out of it. So yeah, so far so good with it. As far as the first category, which is the heat, it is a warm one. It's a little bit warmer for, you know, a single coil. I guess it has to do with the chamber size and the airflow direction and everything like that. It's warm, but it's definitely not hot. You know, if I crank this thing all the way up to 6 volts, I feel like it would be way too hot for it. And I think it is capable of, you know, handling 6 volts, but I feel like that would just be way too much as far as the heat factor is concerned. So I kind of like it right where it is right here. I feel pretty comfortable with it, and hopefully it's going to save me on some battery life. As far as my second category, which is the ramp up and ramp down, sitting at 5 volts right now, it's pretty darn good as far as ramp up is concerned. I get maybe a quarter second, which is, I'd say, pretty normal for ramp up time before this thing really gets going, and you don't really have to take a long drag with it. About 4 or 5 seconds is all you really need, and you definitely get a nice full lung out of it. But as far as the ramp down time is concerned, it is a little bit longer, so let's go ahead and take a puff off of this thing and we'll check it out. So yeah, my suspicions were confirmed right there. I'm getting about a 4 or 5 second ramp down time, which is a bit long for a single coil. And you know, it's kind of moderate, I would say. It's not really the worst I've ever seen, but for a single coil, just doesn't seem to be keeping up as far as the wicking is concerned quite as good as I was hoping. And that could just come down to the wicking job. Like I said in the intro to this video, I am kind of rushing through this one a little bit, so I guess I can't really take that too much to heart. But maybe next time I re-wick this thing, I'll go a little bit lighter on that cotton, and hopefully this thing will wick a little bit better. And for my third category, which is the difficulty of this build, well, once again, we're dealing with pre-made wire. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty good stuff. The actual wire itself is good. However, I just feel like there is a sense of satisfaction when you do it yourself. As soon as you finish the strand and, you know, wrap your coil with it, it's just something of an accomplishment. And when it comes to the satisfaction factor with this stuff here, it's just not there whatsoever. It's just as easy as, you know, cutting a little strip off, wrapping a coil, throwing it in there, and you're done. So I don't know, if you don't want to pay the Instagram builder prices for a nice set of staple coils or anything like that, then yeah, the pre-made stuff on the roll is going to be good for you. But if you really want to get into it and you really want to start building and be proud of something you built, then I would just suggest buy a bunch of wire yourself and just go for it, because that's really what's going to do it for you. And for my final category, which is the flavor on this one, so far I'm getting pretty decent flavor. The cotton is still kind of breaking in a little bit, so I can't really be too harsh of a judge on that. But today we're using some Blaz Melon e-liquid. This is the company that I work for, and I'm very familiar with the flavor on it. Right now, as it stands, like I said, the cotton's still kind of breaking in, so I'm kind of still getting used to it, but I feel like after a few pulls, this thing is going to taste really good. So I don't know, not as quick of a break-in time as the other coils that I've built in the past, like my go-to, which is Fuse Clapton's. However, I can tell already that the flavor is going to be pretty darn good. So that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about pre-made wire or pre-made coils or anything else you guys want to discuss about builds down there. I'm all ears. Of course, check out the links I have in the description. I've got the advocacy and the social media links right down there. You can also pick up yourself a Daily Vape t-shirt. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on!